Hello, welcome back to the Wolf Den. I am the Wolf,
I'm Daddy-O.
and we're back at it again. Here we go, number 10.
10B.
10B, true.
10B because Kronk,
Yeah,
record the podcast.
and it was definitely the wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast.
Yeah.
We were rushed for time. We were in a hurry. We couldn't remember shit. It
Yeah.
was just a train wreck.
So we're doing this again. That's why it's a little late.
That one's going to be like archived, and it'll be like, I don't know, later on down the road, we'll be like, you can get this unreleased version or something.
At like 100,000 subscribers, we'll release that one.
Okay, let's be realistic. Let's say at 100 subscribers.
At 100,000 subscribers, I'll release that video.
Yeah, or we'll call it not the uncensored. It's because they're all uncensored. I don't know. The special edition, limited edition, the lost episode,
whatever you want to call it. At 100,000 subscribers, 100,000. I'll release that.
When you see 100, let me know. Well, I'll get it out there. Okay, so continuing where we've been going is catching up on Marvel movies that we've seen, and actually, we could talk about the DC stuff too.
Yeah, I know. We've just been
up Marvel's butt for a while because their movies are so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. We're catching up to ourselves, so that way we will be dedicating
12.
How many episodes?
Oh no, I just meant episode 12.
Episode 12 will be an entire devoted entirely to
Infinity
War and Endgame. Yeah. We're going to do that. But until then, we've got a couple of things to catch up on. So we went back and rewatched Captain Marvel,
which is still good.
We went back and rewatched Ant-Man, which we're going to talk about. But one thing, I saw a video, I think it was Awesome Entertainment, that I didn't realize because it's at the end of Captain Marvel where Nick Fury's in space.
No, that's at the end of Far From Home.
Okay, at the end of Far From Home, Nick Fury's in space he's on a space station or a ship that's called the Sword.
No, that's the new organization.
Has a new organization. I'm sure it's abbreviated to some crazy thing.
Well, the ship I don't remember the name of, but the new organization is Sword. So that way it's Sword and Shield. Do you see how that works?
Yeah. I see what they did there.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting that I guess that'll be in the sort of future. I don't know. I would think that Captain Marvel has something to do with that. So probably in Captain Marvel 2 will be the formation of Sword. I bet. I'm guessing.
Probably. Well, we won't know until we see it.
Also, since we could talk about Ant-Man and then jump over to some DC.
Sure, I don't mind.
So we rewatched Ant-Man. Excellent movie. We talked about it on the aborted podcast.
I wouldn't use that.
Some of the names of the stars you liked.
Well, it's always good. I always like to see Michael Pena. And the only thing I can think of is Shooter, but I know he's in so many other things.
He did some Bud Light commercials with Amy Schumer a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's done quite a bit of stuff. It's just off the top of our heads because we don't have a lot of time to research things. I probably could have today, but we were just doing stuff. Oh, and just a little note there, my beautiful long gray silver hair is not gone. It's just back here in a braid. In case of those of you who just tuned in were shocked. And okay, so we got Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, Paul Rudd, Michael Pena,
Corey Steele.
Corey Stoll,
not Steele,
as Darren
Cross.
Darren Cross, very similar to Aaron Cross, who was
Jeremy Renner. No.
Well, yeah, but
that was in the Bourne something.
He was the heir to. It was the Bourne Legacy.
Bourne Legacy was good
because he took over for Matt Damon, who was too busy or didn't want to make another movie,
and then came back and made another.
And then they said, "Well, we'll make one without you." And he said, "Oh, okay, wait, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll come back and do one." And anyway, and then of course we know Renner's connection to Marvel. But going back, Corey Stoll as Darren Cross, really good villain for the movie.
And we've discussed this. So the thing is early on in the film, uh, was it Hank Pym or his daughter? Hope. I don't remember. Well, one of them is telling Scott that he needs to, when he shrinks, he has to wear the specialized helmet. Otherwise, the chemicals alter your brain.
Alter your brain chemistry. It's Hank that tells
It's
him.
Hank, yeah. And so that is just kind of the generalized reason that Darren, I'm going to want to say Aaron the whole time now, that Darren Cross is like just killing
And that
people.
was the problem that I had with the movie, was that I don't think they did enough to illustrate that Darren was slowly going crazy.
Right.
And that's what was making him evil. They could have had him, shown him like at home, or, because I don't know if he's married. Well, no, he can't be married. Well, he could, because he was still making a play for Hope, but
Right.
that could have been the chemicals too. So they could have shown him at home or off site, because you only really see, well, except when he comes to Pim's house, but you only see him there at Cross
Pemtech.
Cross Technologies / Pimtech.
Yeah.
You only see him there. So I would have liked to seen him at home wrestling with the chemicals, wrestling his good and his
Right.
evil things. I don't think they went to enough lengths. They just established it so you would buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, him not wearing the helmet's making him crazy. They didn't give us enough.
No, I agree. I think he was just more of a generic villain. I compared
But he
him
was a
to
good villain.
he was a good villain. Like it was good. I compared him to another one because I said that. Yeah, now I don't remember, but I mean, just pick a villain that just like they just kill people, and it's just like they don't offer an explanation. It's just like, oh, that guy, bad guy, has got to be a bad guy. Other than that, I still like the movie.
Oh yeah, and it fits in good. It fits in good with the storyline of how the movies are progressing towards the climax
Mm-hmm.
with the two Avengers movies. So we did note in our other uh, podcast that Scott Rudd, Paul Rudd, had a hand in writing the screenplay,
Yeah.
which is cool because I think a couple of scenes were specifically his ideas. And now I forgot what they were, what I said they were. But he had a lot of input in what the final product was, and I think he did a good job. His part of whatever scenes he wrote, which I'm pretty sure I I said them, I just don't remember what they are. And since it's been a few days since we watched it, I'd have to go watch it again.
Oh no, what a nightmare!
Also, what else on?
Well, it was a different type of movie. If you look at the different MCU movies and how they progress, I mean, Ant-Man is definitely a heist film, uh, and it's in the Marvel universe, so it's a Marvel heist film, and it's really good. But if you look at the first solo movies, because that's what this Ant-Man is, Iron Man is Tony Stark doing a hero's journey, essentially getting his eyes open to the pain that his weapons in the wrong hand were causing.
It's a story of redemption. Well, actually, this is too, but it's smaller scale.
It's very, very smaller scale. And then like the Incredible Hulk, it's him trying to get rid of the Hulk, and so that's again
the
like
Edward Norton version, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is in the MCU.
Yeah.
I just assume Bruce got plastic surgery or something. Anyways,
a couple of different times.
Yeah, a few times. So, but then Captain America, obviously, it's him getting the serum and then going to, well, not fight the Nazis technically, fight Hydra, which are Nazis, but he's not after Hitler. He's after I forget what his actual name is, but Red Skull. And then, Thor is him getting banished, and it's a redemption story again for him to get his
I think
powers back.
If you look at it, they are all redemption stories.
Yeah.
And when we get down to it,
But I'm just saying, as comparatively, it's smaller, but it's still good and it
Now
works.
I do own a few Marvel movies that we can watch. We were planning to go to Ant-Man and Wasp next, but we found out
Yeah, that it doesn't get added.
all the Marvel stuff we're watching is on Disney Plus now. And shout out to the Evil Empire. But it's not coming out until August.
Yeah,
So
August something like very close to my birthday, I
we have to go to the $5 bin at Walmart,
think. And see if we
another
can.
Evil Empire shout out, and see if we can find the movie there and watch it in time for number 11.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, great movie. The second one, the Ant-Man and Wasp, is, from what I remember, was really good too.
Mhm.
Um,
I did think there was a pretty funny scene towards the end of the film when Ant Man is battling the Yellow Jacket. Um,
Darren Cross.
yeah, he throws the enlarging disc, and I forget. I think just the Yellow Jacket like blocks it or something, and it hits an ant. Which up until this point, the ants have been helping Scott, and then it grows in size and gets enlarged, and it just like pieces out from the fight. It's like,
It's
no,
like it just bounces.
yeah, it's like I'm done. I don't need to be here anymore, and just like
And then
leaves.
the neighbor goes, "Man, that's a messed up looking dog."
Yeah, was it the neighbor or the cop? I think the cop said that.
Somebody did.
But no, it was funny. It
The
was good.
train fight, the railroad tracks
Oh
fight,
yeah, when the tank engine hits
hits the
him.
enlarging disc. Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, when they're fighting on the train tracks, from their perspective, it's like there's a giant train coming at them, and then when you see it from afar, it just like hits him and bloop,
Yeah, it just falls over. It's just a
falls
toy
over.
train.
Yeah,
It is, yeah, that movie, and again, they did it well, where the comedy is there, but it's not overpowering, and
as it
it's
was in Ragnarok. I'm
yeah,
telling you,
yeah, it
Ragnarok was
was,
too much.
but it was funny. It was really good. Paul Rudd is really good.
He's personable.
Yeah, he's in some other stuff that I've seen, and
And
nothing.
liked.
Yeah, and nothing's coming to mind. Like none of the names are coming to mind. But I know and I just saw a movie the other day that I know I've seen before, and then I saw Paul Rudd, and I was like, "Wait, he's in this movie?" Oh, Role Models. He's in Role Models.
With Sean William Scott. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
and
good movie.
Christopher, what's his face?
Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah,
If I said that, I think I said that wrong, but
Chris Mintz Plots.
something.
Chris
Uh,
Plots Mintz
anyways, that movie,
McLovin.
yeah, that movie is hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Role Models.
What
Um,
would you think if, I don't know what part he could play, but what about if they brought Sean William Scott into the MCU?
I don't know if he would be a hero. Well,
He could. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a some kind of a. I
a
just,
Sean William Scott hero. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah. There's, or villain.
Or villain?
That'd be funny.
See, I would. I mean, so if I'm used to him as a comedian, comic role, it would be weird to give him a big name villain. Um,
Yeah, but casting,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can think of the worst casting and then it works.
right. I would. I don't know. I wouldn't want to give him a throwaway villain or hero either.
I'll tell you what, though, it
Get a
just came to me.
medium.
I would put him in Deadpool, with Deadpool's.
There you go. That
He's like
wins.
He's like Ryan Reynolds' retarded half brother or something.
Maybe. But
Something.
anyways, that would be pretty
I
funny.
would, yeah, he would. I think he would work well in the Deadpool universe, which is now part of Marvel Disney universe.
Uh, yeah, I think that would be interesting.
Before we hit on we wash our palates and go over to a couple of DC things that we could talk about.
Hmm.
Way back when, how many years ago when we started this?
4.
4 years ago in our first episode, an idea that we had was we were going to call this thing Versus, which was, I explained that some of the songs that he listens to, he didn't know the remakes. And I do because I'm old. So I know the original songs versus what he's heard. We talked about, it was Mad World by who?
Gary Jules, and then the
But the
original
original was
Tears
Tears
for
for Fears,
Fears,
which
which
came out in like 83.
yeah, which Gary Jules did a
So
way
we
better
do
job.
have there is a couple of more in your playlists that I've heard that I know are remakes. and we just went ahead and refreshed our memory. We were going to go with
The Sound of
The Sound of
Silence.
Silence, Disturbed versus
Simon and
Simon and
Garfunkel.
Garfunkel. Your thoughts first.
Well, I've heard both, and not just today before I shot this, but I had heard both before. I've heard Disturbed's version more. Um, I like Disturbed's version more. It's better, I think. I think the music fits it better. And I just lost the lead singer's name.
David Draymond.
Thank you. His voice is just so powerful and commanding, especially when he's singing that song. I think if you no, I don't want to say that. I think even if you don't like it, I think you have to give it the respect it deserves for what it is. For the music, for him being powerful. The Simon and Garfunkel version, to me, the music doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think I said the same thing versus in the Tears for Fears verses. Um, for example, in that one, for Mad World, they randomly throw in trumpets, and it doesn't make any sense. And to me, it distracts from the song. Um, Now there are a lot of songs like that where the music is upbeat or it's in a different style than what the lyrics actually are. And I don't know, I'm just not a fan of those. I would say I like the
I would
Disturbed version.
quick on the um, Tears for Fears. You were saying random trumpets, and is it kind of near the end? There's kind of like a whole swirl of different instruments.
No, so there it's
Because I don't think it was random. What I think it is that is a nod to the Beatles, to Sergeant Pepper era Beatles. They did a lot of weird stuff that did seem to come randomly, but is actually part of the arrangement. So if I go back and hear the song, I'm gonna probably say, yeah, that's a Beatles thing.
it might be. I know that I think it's the first or second time that they do the chorus of the song. Um, and like the lyrics, if you don't know them, and now I'm talking about Mad World, is I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. And as soon as they said had, they throw in like this little trumpet beat, and I was like, what?
But now go back.
So to talk about the Sound of Silence, I do prefer the Disturbed version. I think both songs are great. Lyrically, there's no difference. The lyrics
Right,
did not change at all. The
right.
music did, and I think doing the piano, and I want to say there's a little bit of
There
guitar,
is.
a
There's
little because it kind of builds. You know,
yeah.
you start with the piano, and it's all slow, and you got Draymond,
David.
David. I don't know why I said Damon. Um,
He put his last name and first name.
yeah, I guess. So, but you got him starting off with the "Hello, darkness, my old friend," and it's
Quiet
quiet. Yeah, I was going to
or
say
low.
low. Yeah,
It's both.
and then he starts building, and especially when I'm thinking of the high note.
Well, it's not a high note. It's more like he really
Yeah,
forces it out when he gets to the bow to the neon
and
god
God,
they made.
yeah, that part
Yeah.
is just it's moving.
It's
Honestly,
like that's the high point, and then it comes back a
down.
little bit. Now,
And that's when they start throwing in the guitar and stuff too as it
mm,
builds up. But the piano is still front and center.
I'm gonna say that I do. I mean, because I'm older and I'm used to Simon and Garfunkel's. When I hear it, it's like it's comfortable.
Hmm.
But re-listening to it again today, Um, their harmonies were pretty good. As far as I've heard harmony duos before, and they're up there with some of the best ones. I think that could be the only purpose that Art Garfunkel served was to be the harmony singer because Paul Simon, of course, has gone on as a solo artist to
Hmm.
he's real. I really like a lot of his stuff that I didn't. I if I would have said if somebody were to say is he one of your favorite singers, I would say no. But the stuff that I hear from him is so good. It's like, I'll listen to it. I won't change the channel or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then and then there's the joke that it's Paul Simon was the star, and then Art Garfunkel is the other guy. That's the same with Hall and Oates. Daryl
Hmm.
Hall, great white, blue-eyed soul singer. Oates is the other guy.
Hmm.
Briggs and Dunn, uh, the what is his name? I can't remember. It's Dunn. I know. I can't think of his first name, but great singer. Kix Brooks. He's the other guy. I
Hmm.
don't even think his guitar is plugged in. They got like three guitarists in the band. I don't, and he's one of them. I don't think his guitar is plugged in. He's just there for a purpose. And then that's who's that group? It's Kathy McCucci and that other comedian. They're called Garfunkel and Oates because they're
Hmm.
just the other people in the band.
Right. Yeah.
Digressing off and on tangent. That's all right. Let's bring it. I'll bring it back to saying that Simon and Garfunkel's version is comfortable to me, and the arrangement of the song is what keeps it going along. And you listen to it from the beginning to the end. You're not really listening to a lot of the words. It's the music and the way they perform it versus Disturbed's version, which I kind of think David Draymond's the only person from Disturbed that's on the song. I don't think the rest of the band is on it. I bet you I don't know for sure because I've never checked the credits, but I bet that was him playing the piano. And then the strings, and then the eventual guitar and drums could have been anybody, could have been studio musicians. There's not a distinctive sound to them.
Of silence.
Yeah, there's not a distinctive sound that the band has to tell me that that's them. So I'm guessing that could be anybody. So I think it's just David Draymond. And what a job he did. When we're talking about, I'm agreeing with you. Um, it's the whole song is just a slow build to that line, bowing to the neon god they made. He starts out low and slow and just keeps building. What a range that dude
I
has.
know, right?
He has
That's
that, and it's
crazy.
just a slow build to that climax, to that line, to boom, and then kind of starts going back down the other way when you get to the end, to where it's just him and the piano again, I believe.
Yeah, and then at the end, when he fades out, the sound of silence is the last. The ending words. He says, "The sound of
And I, yeah,
silence,"
and
and then
you
it
think
goes.
it's like really quiet
Yeah,
too.
I'm not a singer. That's why that sucked. FYI, his version does not suck, but the way that he ends it of just like the sound of he's slowly but he's singing and you just hear him drag on silence at the end as the music fades out
And
with a
it's
little
barely
bit of
audible too.
with a little bit of build because it got
Yeah.
a little louder. I have to
So
say
I like them both, but I'll say that I prefer the Disturbed version.
okay.
And if we can, I've got a couple of other songs in my head that I know that you've heard, and I discussed it with you. So we'll see if we can do another one of these next time. What do you guys think? Do you like Disturbed, or are you an old folky and you prefer Paul Simon and the other guy?
Folky, you mean folky?
No, folky, folk music.
Oh, got it.
They were a folk band
Gotcha.
in the beginning.
um
Moving on. Next would be, did you want to talk about Suicide Squad or Wonder
Yeah, I
Woman?
mean, there's a lot. Again, we barely touched on those. And what's funny is in our description is we say that we talk about DC and we haven't really touched on them.
Okay, let's pick um,
You can pick almost anything.
uh, Batman: Dawn of Justice, right?
Oh, well, that's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is the full name, but yeah.
Because we loved Affleck
Oh, dude,
as
absolutely.
Batman,
I will probably disagree,
and
but
Bella in three,
oh,
two.
she's laying down.
Oh, she's not gonna. She'll
Okay.
bark in a minute. Oh,
Oh,
there she goes.
yeah, there's somebody's driving by outside. But anyways, I think that was a great casting choice. I was really looking forward to his film, and now it's Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. Oh my God. No,
I've
no.
only seen him in one thing, so oh no, that's not true. I've seen him in three things,
Ugh.
which was Water for Elephants, Twilight, and I cannot remember the name of this movie.
Is it the one where he's like jumping through time? Isn't that him?
No.
What was that one?
Uh,
Not Looper.
No, Jumper, which is
Jumper, yeah.
Hayden Christensen.
Oh,
I cannot remember this name of the movie, and I may even be wrong that it's him, but he plays like a World War II bomber pilot, and his plane gets shot down, and like he loses his legs, and he moves into they's still there, but he's just paralyzed, and he moves into like this mansion.
oh, Dan got no legs.
Yeah. He moves into this mansion with his aunt, who he's also like in a weird ancestral relationship with.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know. My mom
What
wanted to
the
see
hell are
it.
you watching?
I don't know. Mom picked it out.
Oh,
So I could be wrong. That may not even be him. But at least for sure, Twilight and Water for
but
Elephants.
if your mom picked it out, it probably was him.
Yeah, it makes sense. But and he's supposed to
Shout
be.
out to Barbara.
So it's supposed to be a darker, the darkest Batman that they've put onto film. I'm really hoping that he can prove us wrong. I know there was a lot of people who were the same way
Oh,
against.
I forgot. I hear who. Did we hear who they got for the new Joker?
We did. I can't remember.
It's it's not Keanu Reeves, is it?
No, no,
No, it's somebody.
no. But way to. Too bad Joaquin couldn't reprise the role for this movie, but that's neither here nor there. Um,
I
I hope like I said, I hope he proves us wrong because I know a lot of people felt the same way
well, we're okay,
when
but
Ben
you're
Affleck
talking
was.
about the Batman movie that was never made. Let's talk about the one that that is made
Yeah, let's do that. You
because
brought it up.
he was an excellent Batman. He's my favorite Batman after Keaton. Keaton is still number one, and all the rest of them they're there.
I don't know if I have a favorite Batman actor. I know that I liked um, Ben Affleck a lot.
He was awesome.
Especially that training montage that he has,
Yeah,
where he tells, it's like Alfred is like, if there's even a 1% chance that he's our enemy, we have to like be
have to be
ready.
ready.
And
Yeah.
then it just shows him like training. I was like, yeah, absolutely. This
And
is it.
let's see,
This is
this
perfect.
Batman. I mean, this Alfred. This time, Alfred was, I think, Jeremy
The Irons,
Irons.
yeah.
Did a good job. He's my favorite Alfred so far is the guy that played him in Gotham.
Mm.
That's the best version of Alfred. Sorry, cousin Wes, he hates it, but I thought that was the best Alfred that they had. Michael Caine, great actor, played him for in the Bale movies. He's all right. He did it. He's a personable person. You see him in your that guy's been in so many movies.
Mm.
You're comfortable with him
Right.
as Alfred. Alfred really didn't do anything.
And there was that one actor who played Alfred for like ever.
Well, in the first three movies.
Okay, sorry about that. The mailman was going by. But as we just started to discuss Alfred's, a gentleman, Michael Goff, played Alfred for 4 movies.
4 flicks, yeah.
And I really liked him. I thought he was a more quiet Alfred, but he was still commanding and he knew how to get things done.
And
Michael Caine was kind of sassy
to Bruce.
to Bruce, but like in
Yeah.
Batman and Robin, when they first start getting Dick Grayson, they're trying to get him to stay, and so
Wait a minute.
there's no real words exchanged between them.
Wait a minute. Forever is the debut.
Is Forever the debut?
Yeah, Forever's the debut.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, Batman Forever. They're trying to get Dick Grayson to stay, and they kind of Bruce and Alfred like share this look. And there's no real words exchanged. Um, and then Bruce takes um, Dick into like his garage and is like showing him all the cars and motorcycles he has, and basically he tells him like, "Oh yeah, if you fix it up, you can have it. I'll give it to you." Trying to entice him to stay, and he kind of refuses. And then Alfred comes in and he's got like a steak and all kinds of food and everything. And
Because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Exactly. And Bruce like looks at, or no, Alfred is like, oh, is like Master Dick hungry or whatever? And then Bruce goes, oh, well, he's not going to stay with us. And Alfred's like, well, I guess I'll just throw this out to the dogs. And then like he leaves, and then Dick is just kind of standing there. And goes, hey, wait a minute, and starts chasing
Well,
himself.
Goff did a really
Good
good
job.
Alfred. Because it's like he sixth sense. He knew what they needed before they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to the first one with him and Keaton, he like at that point it's established that Batman's a loner,
Mm-hmm.
but that Alfred is like when he meets Vicky Vale, he talks about her, like staying, like maybe she should stay
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. That he needed somebody there with him besides Alfred, and still Michael Keaton to me is still the best
Right.
Bruce Wayne.
So now that we've bunny trailed like crazy,
Whoop, whoop.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Right.
So we'll probably get a lot of hate for this one, but I mean, I thought it was a good movie.
I did.
It was what I liked about it. Up until they start, up until like the final battle, it feels like you're watching two different movies appropriately. Um, when it's showing Batman, you feel like you're in a Batman film, and then it shows Superman, you're like, oh, I'm in a Superman movie. It was perfect on both sides, and then they got together, and it just kind of overshadowed into a singular Batman film. But at the time when they were separate characters, you felt like you were watching two
And
different
that
movies.
was the one where we had gone to see that in at the Galaxy
Mhm.
big ass theater, and we walked out, and it just dawned on us as we're walking to the car that
Oh, that they
both their mothers were named
named
Martha.
Martha. I don't know how I missed that in like all my years of nerd, but
Yeah,
somehow I did. I never thought of it. It's just like, yeah,
Martha Wayne and
Wayne and
Martha
Martha
Kent.
Kent. I just
What?
and I never, and I've talked about that. I've talked about Martha Wayne before, not on here, but uh, yeah, I don't know. I just walked out and I was like, why didn't I never
Why
catch
did?
that?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
We
so
were just
weird.
dumbfounded all the way home.
Um, but I liked it. That served as the launching point for Wonder Woman as well.
Hmm. Which
Um,
we'll talk about next episode.
so yeah, brought her in. Um, excuse me. Now, one of the things that uh, these directors started doing, or
Zack Snyder.
no, it's not Zack Snyder. The guy that not Christian Bale. He directed the
Nolan.
Nolan. He started doing this thing where his Batman and everything in the Batman universe was like grounded in reality, something that you would mostly believe. Like Bruce Wayne becomes Batman to fight injustice, but here's him like training. Here's him meeting the League of Legends and them teaching League of Legends, League of Shadows. League of Legends is a video game. League of Shadows, and they train him to be a ninja so that he, when he goes back and fights people, it's believable. Um, and obviously, him being rich, so it's believable that he can afford this stuff. And he doesn't even buy it. It's a shut down division of Wayne Tech, and Lucius Fox was just like, the way I see it, it's yours. So it makes sense that that's where he's getting his supply from.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker is still mostly crazy, but he's a more believable person. It's that he puts on war paint. It's not that he fell in acid in it.
You mean Jared Leto's version?
No, 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 no. This is still in the Nolan movies.
Oh.
I can see him. Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, that he has he's wearing war paint. And brilliant is that they left paint on his fingers to make it look like he put it on himself. So it was believable. Bane wasn't just a roided out jock. He was just a big dude that was also trained by the League of Shadows. I almost said Legends again. So it's like that all was believable mostly, and it was grounded in realism.
Who directed the one with Bane and Poison Ivy and all that. That's Batman and Robin, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay. So that was a dude that like destroys movies. Joel Schumacher.
Mm,
Because remember that Bane was created in a lab
yeah,
by Poison Ivy.
maybe. Oh no, actually, it was by another doctor, and then
Well,
Poison Ivy set him free.
yeah, and he
Um,
just like bloop, 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 like all of a sudden he had muscles and
yeah,
stuff. That was a
which is from the comics. It's the
which I
Titan serum,
think
but
the which
or
I think
Venom.
the same actor that played that Bane
Hmm.
was a guy named Tyler or something. I think he's the one that played um, the original Wolverine's brother,
Mm, Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. He was the original Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie. I think
Uh,
that's the same guy. But anyway,
but with the grounding and realism, when you move on to Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice, it's still kind of grounded in that realism. To try to make you believe that yeah,
well,
this is
and
plausible.
that's part of why they go a little dark
Hmm.
because life is if Batman and Robin, which is like the crappiest one of all, is so much trying to be just a comic book come to life.
Hmm.
And for some reason, that's what they thought people wanted. Well, and of course, it made a assload of money, so I guess enough people did want it. But comic fans
Hmm.
were always wanting Frank Miller's version
Yeah.
because we knew the they know from the camp series and the TV series in the '60s with Adam West. It was funny. So then they say, well, we know all that history is there. So in 30 years later in 86 or 20 years later in 86 with Michael Keaton, it's like, okay, let's explore a little bit more of the darkness side of, and that's why they used Tim Burton.
Hmm.
He went a little bit darker, but once he was not involved anymore, they just started hiring whoever the hell. It got more. It went back to comic book style, and
Hmm.
culminating in Batman and Robin,
Yeah.
which is such a train wreck. It's unbelievable that it even got made. And that was Clooney taking a paycheck. I'm going to give you $20 million to be Batman. Sure.
I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger got top billing, so his name Arnold Schwarzenegger plays the villain in a Batman movie, and
Yeah,
he's higher billed than Batman himself.
he probably got more money than Clooney.
Maybe, but
So
anyways, I like Dawn of Justice for what it was. Again, I like the feeling of the
two
difference.
separate things.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah, it is Dawn of Justice. So in the Man of Steel movie, the fight in not Gotham in Metropolis between Superman and Zod. We see the ramifications at the beginning of it,
That was awesome.
and especially so in Man of Steel, Superman is fighting Zod inside the building, and
And they're
Zod,
just
yeah, and they're destroying it, and Zod just figures out that he has heat vision or laser beams, whatever you want to call it. It's heat vision. And he's like, he's just kind of looking around, not really. He's not aiming at anything. He's just trying to figure this out. And so he destroys it in a pattern ish. And then you watch Dawn of Justice from the outside, it's the same
and
pattern.
you see the
I
building
mean,
coming
being
apart and
hard.
people being harmed, and Bruce Wayne's driving around going, "What the hell's going on
Yeah,
here?"
trying to help him. And like, that's his whole reason for like wanting to stop Superman is like, yeah, okay, he stopped Zod, but look at the destruction that
Yeah,
he caused doing it.
maybe he should have signed the Sokovia Accords.
Maybe I that to me was probably the coolest moment, and yeah, no, that's probably the coolest moment, and it does come at the very beginning of the movie, but
It set the tone. It set.
it did
It
because
gives you the premise, so now you can go along with the story of or the journey of
Bruce,
Bruce to
because
go.
he's more the viewfinder
This
of
is
the
like
movie.
what. This is why I'm going to do this. I haven't been Batman for a while. It seemed like, but I've got to come back to right this wrong, to stop this crazy Superman guy,
Hmm.
because if he's left unchecked, he could actually kill us all.
Right. To me that was good.
So it was cool.
It was a really really good movie. A lot of, and I did touch on this before in an earlier episode. My favorite Lex Luthor is Kevin Spacey. I thought that he did a great job. I think I don't know. I just really really liked it, especially when he's on the boat or on his yacht and Lois Lane like finds him, or she figures out, she sees all the wigs and like connects the dots that, oh, this might be Lex Luthor's boat, and he's just like standing there brushing his teeth. And he's like, Lois Lane, and I don't know. I
Was
just
it
thought it was
was
good.
that Superman Returns?
Yes, it was Superman
Okay,
Returns.
so the only before that would have been Michael Caine, or not Michael Caine. Gene Hackman
Hmm.
was the '70s version of Lex, and which is I think he's in all three or four. There was four original
Hmm.
Superman movies. Started with and it starred Christopher Reeve, and he so yeah, it was Superman, Superman 2, Superman 3. I don't know if it had a
Subtitle:
subtitle. Superman 4 did,
Quest for Peace.
yeah, which I think Christopher Reeve wrote that himself, or he had a
Mm.
lot to do with it. It was some heavy-handed political message about, and it was anti-nuclear power or something. So it just kind
Mm.
of it tanked. And the third one had Richard Pryor in it for comic relief,
Hmm.
and that's the one where Superman gets split into
Two.
two: evil Superman and regular Superman.
Hmm.
And I think Gene Hackman is in there. One and two were not like the same movie, but they really go together. You watch one and you watch two.
Hmm.
It's like one good story.
Uh,
So Gene Hackman, and then you got Kevin Spacey.
right. And so what I was going to get to is Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor. For some reason, a lot of people had reservations and didn't like it. Wrong. He did a
But
great
he's
job.
also his son.
Well, he's Lex Luthor Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is actually technically Alexander Joseph Luthor Jr. is his full name. I feel that when you watch it, Jesse Eisenberg, his young, probably, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s ish, Lex Luthor would grow into Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor. To me, it makes a whole lot of sense that, yeah, this is him as a younger guy, and then as he matures and ages, this is what he turns into.
I can see that.
Especially since if you watch Superman Returns, and it's really thanks to Kevin Spacey, his facial expressions when his henchmen get on his nerves, or just his little comedic timing. Um, yeah, to me,
He
it
was
makes
pretty
sense.
twisted. He
Yeah,
was pretty twisted
uh,
as Lex. Well, the other thing, so you just named off his entire name. Did you make the connection about them being evil and being named Alexander,
what do you mean?
or being delusional and named Alexander?
For
Can
what?
you think of an Alexander in history that was
The
kind of
Great?
delusional? There you go.
Okay.
So that's the
Um,
whole thing.
so yeah, no, I loved it. Henry Cavill as Superman made sense. It was good.
I like this guy.
I wasn't familiar with his work before, and I'm still not. The only thing is I've
I
seen.
hope he's not done. Well, he was Jesus.
Huh?
He was Jesus,
Okay.
I believe.
I don't know.
And the one the big Jesus movie from just a few years ago.
The
That
Superstar one?
no, that's a musical from way long
Oh,
ago.
I don't
Talking
know.
about the one that just came out. It was what's his name? Bankrolled it. Australian guy, Mad Max.
I don't know.
You don't know the Mad Max?
No, I know the Mad Max. I don't
Okay,
know who directed it.
no, but what's his name?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
No, Mad Max. The
Max?
character, not okay. You're going.
I don't know.
you're not old enough.
I've never seen the Mad Max movies. I don't know. What's his name? Max? It's called Mad
The
Max.
guy from okay, the guy from he's an Australian guy that got in trouble for saying a bunch of racial slurs when he was drunk.
That could be anybody.
No, Australian guy. He's Lethal Weapon.
Oh, I can see him now. I don't know his name.
I got it. I had it. Mel Gibson.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Mel Gibson bankrolled this Jesus movie from not like 2012, 2010.
Okay.
He was, and Henry Cavill was
Got it.
the what is it called? The, oh man, what is it called? what is it called? What is it called? What's it called? What's it called? It's the big movie. I mean, it made $1 kajillion. Everybody sees it. It's the one that's got the real graphic whipping and beating.
Oh, it's called. I've actually never seen it. I wasn't allowed to watch it as a kid. The Passion of the Christ.
Yes, that's it. I believe Henry Cavill was Jesus in that movie.
I don't know. Like I
But
said,
you didn't see it?
no, Mom didn't. Said I wasn't allowed to watch it, which is weird because I've read the book.
I
So
went with I think me, Mom, and your Aunt Jenna.
mm,
Man, whew, I can't watch that movie. That's just. Oof.
anyways, but like I said, I'm not very familiar with.
Well, what was the movie he was filming that they had to digitize his mustache?
Well, that was Superman because he's in. That was Justice League because he's in Mission Impossible where he has.
That's it.
But I haven't seen that Mission Impossible.
We just watched it.
No, you just watched it. I didn't watch it. But anyways, like I said, I'm not familiar with his work. But as Superman, I thought he did a great job. And also, to me, it made sense that Superman was like buff, was ripped, shredded.
Which one is when he's pissed off Superman?
That is that's in Justice League.
That was awesome.
When he's fighting,
when he comes back from the dead,
yeah,
and he's just pissed off.
He's
like,
just
I don't know who
everything.
any of you people are. I'm
Exactly.
gonna kick all your asses.
Yeah. No, it was really, really good. Dawn of Justice was really good. The ending in which when they're all three of them are fighting.
I thought he was with you. I thought she was with you.
What's his name? But Doomsday.
Doomsday.
What happened to Lex? That's the thing. Is he like Superman just leaves him on that roof and then that's it?
No, remember at the end he's on his yacht. And Black Mantis comes up.
Oh no, that's a Deathstroke that comes up.
Or Deathstroke.
But that's at the end of Justice League. But at the end of Dawn of Justice, like Lex is trying to get Superman to kill Batman. It's not working.
He creates.
Yeah, he creates Doomsday, but then he just like vanishes, and then somehow Batman gets him into jail. I don't know. It's a little weird for me.
Well, we'd have to go back because I don't remember either.
Yeah.
Or at least just go watch that scene. I don't want to watch the whole movie all over again.
Yeah. I think Justice League was a bit rushed, but it was still good.
Well, let's save that because we've already spent enough time on this.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about. I got my notes. We could talk about AEW Dynamite from last week.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do that.
So I got some notes on Box versus Cage. That's coming soon.
Oh, I was like, I don't remember.
No, but it was the story that they're building is and using Taz on the mic for Brian Cage, which I remember Brian Cage in Impact. I don't. He didn't have a manager there. I don't remember his promos. So the thing I was guessing that they put him with Taz because he's like in that way. It's an obvious comparison. He's Paul Heyman for Lesnar. So,
right.
Taz is Heyman.
Yeah, we get it.
So anyway, but I like it. Taz is one of my favorite performers. It sucks that he got taken out early from a neck injury, but he's been an awesome commentator. He was a heel commentator on Impact, and then he joined the Aces and Eights. Remember that?
Yes, I do. The thing the small itty bitty problem I have is they're putting him against Moxley right away.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because he debuted and he won the match, so yeah, he gets his title shot.
No, I don't even think that. Well, that was a specific title shot. But then why have the rankings?
Well, no. Hold on. The rankings still make sense. My problem, but it was a match. Basically, it shoots you up in the rankings and you become number one contender. But the thing that I'm saying is he's immediately going for the title, and one of two things happens. Brian Cage loses, and then his whole monster gimmick thing and deadliest wrestler is kaput, and he has to try and figure out how to climb his way back out. Or he wins, and then what? We have Lance Archer, who's not ranked.
And that's the same thing. This is a pattern that they're doing that I'm not really happy with, because it happened to Lance Archer, it happened with Brody Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're getting these. I mean, okay, I understand these guys have been restricted from their other promotions. And right here, Tony Khan, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, they're like, do whatever you feel you got in you. Show us what you got. Let's see what you can do. We're not going to hold you back from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's awesome that they're giving these guys their shot. But it's like, well, wait a minute. There's other guys that have been there since day one. MJF.
Yeah, he's number one ranked.
He's number one ranked for I don't know how long now, for like a year or something.
And let's say
I think he went up number one ranked after Moxley.
Yeah.
And Moxley took the title from Jericho after only about 4 months.
Right. So here's the other thing. Let's say Brian Cage wins, right? Which he might, because I feel that if he was to lose right now, it would just suck for him specifically. Trying to claw back is like, well, you were supposed to be this unstoppable guy, but John Moxley beat you.
Same with Lance Archer.
The same with Lance Archer. Cody Rhodes beat you. Why didn't they just do Lance Archer and Brian Cage? To me,
that's the feud I want to see.
To me, that's the same flub that WWE did when they had Sting and Undertaker at the same time. And it's WrestleMania time. And they don't just do that. I think they could have just switched
Triple H and Sting.
No, it was Seth Rollins and Sting, and then Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. If they would have just...
Oh, you're thinking of that one.
Yeah, why didn't they just put Brock Lesnar against Seth Rollins and Sting against The Undertaker? Same feuds, just swap the opponents, and it would...
Or they could have done Sting versus Undertaker at 31 instead of Triple H.
Right. Well, but I mean, that was the specific one that Brock Lesnar beat the streak, which was stupid. If you're gonna break the streak, why not have the icon Sting do it? You would still be in disbelief and shock, but you wouldn't be as angry that it happened. I know I am. It's really, really dumb. I would have never broken the streak if I was on creative, but I'm not, so it's broken.
Yeah.
But anyways, having Lance Archer and Brian Cage not feud with each other,
they need to. That needs to become a number one contender storyline. Those two big boys getting on it. Even throw Brody Lee in there too.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So the other thing I was going to talk about was Taz's role as an on-screen character now, as the guy who's pushing Cage. Love his tagline. It's beat him if you can, survive if he lets you. And then he was pissed that the first time when he cut the promo 2 weeks ago, he thought Mox was disrespecting him by smiling and snickering while he was talking. That's what came out last week, was he was pissed off about that. And rightly so, I think, as far as storyline goes. If somebody's talking to you and they're threatening you, you can't have that permagrin. You got to pay attention. So it's building to a great story. It's building a great story, but I think it's way too soon.
Yeah, and then also the other thing is are they just dropping Darby Allin from that and letting him be a loner, or was he just a filler until they got to Mox? Because that makes no sense, because like Taz was trying to recruit him, and then it's like Darby Allin said no, and he's like, well, I got my own guy now.
But also Taz is talking about he teased, I think it was on Dark, he teased a faction because somebody else came out there and Taz said, oh, I'd like to have him. I was like, what? Oh, what is this now? He's teasing a faction, possibly, which he could still bring Darby into.
Right.
If say it's a guy not as big as Cage. Say Taz gets
Darby Allin.
Well, no, to get Darby Allin, I'm saying he gets another guy and he feuds with Allin to break him down and then possibly pull him in.
Yeah. Ooh, so speaking of breaking down and pulling in,
which was you talk about Colt Cabana,
Colt Cabana getting
possibly joining the
the
Dark
Dark
Order.
Order.
I like it.
Oh,
I like it.
I would like to. I don't want him to turn on it. Like,
He's gonna have to heal.
yeah, I think that would be insanely cool. I mean, I like Colt Cabana.
Boom boom
Boom, Colt Cabana.
boom
But
boom
not doing it again. Colt Cabana. Okay, not doing it a third time. So
boom boom.
no.
Colt
Uh
Cabana.
I think he's really cool. I like his
He's got a
energetic.
his personality is so awesome. He is so bright.
Yeah,
So
his
I think heel turning him is going to be a freaking awesome thing.
yeah,
That's like heel turning Hogan.
yeah. His music, his entrance music sets the tone for the kind of person that he
Yeah,
is. Um, and he's a great wrestler. I've only seen a handful of matches, but he does good. He's a really good worker.
he's best friends with CM Punk.
I like that he smacked Kip Sabian in the face when Kip Sabian was running his mouth, and he hit him.
Oh,
He's like,
when he was in the crowd.
yeah, and he hit him. He's like, "What? Did you forget I was a wrestler too?"
Yeah,
But then he's started to lose. He's losing, and then it was at the Battle Royal when they first handed him the Dark Order
mm.
paper, and he didn't tear it up, which is what I thought he was going to do.
He folded it
He
up and put it in
did
his
singlet,
singlet.
and then just this
Well, it's
previous
not a
time,
singlet. It's a
it's a singlet.
no singlet is when you have one thing across, like the Big Show wears.
No, because that's what when I wrestled, I had two of them, and it was still called a singlet.
But he folded it up and stuck it.
In his
And then now last week was it Dynamite or Dark?
no, it was Dynamite. He
Dynamite.
took on.
He was had that interview with Alex Marvez.
But it was after because
Yeah,
he took on somebody and lost.
yeah. And then he was being interviewed by Alex Marvez, and all of a sudden Brody Lee and the Dark Order spokesman guy, whoever he is, like he reminds me of like a televangelist or something. I can't remember. I don't know if they've ever mentioned his name.
I don't know.
He looks like he looks like a cross between Jake Hager and Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
So,
but he shows up and like just starts basically trying to recruit Colt Cabana to the Dark Order, and in my mind, the type of character that he is, without the knowledge of him folding the Dark Order pamphlet, had I never seen that, I would have just assumed Colt Cabana would have told him off and like meet me in the ring and all of this. And Brody Lee leaves, and he's not saying anything. He's contemplating.
He says like, "Oh, that's nothing That's nothing I ever want to be a part of." But then again,
yeah, and you see him; he's just like thinking about.
And then to add that, Tony Schiavone on commentary says, "Well, he would have to consider it, shouldn't he? Because he's been losing."
Yeah.
So they do great with their commentary, bolstering the story. Whereas on the other company, they just rewrite history every week.
Yeah,
that's so damn annoying. But yeah, this is a great story for him to heel turn. Possibly okay because Fighter Fest is going to be a Dynamite event in 2 different Wednesdays, so it's not a pay per view. So the next pay per view is September is All Out. So you got what? We're in June. So you got July and August, and then whatever part of September. So you got 2.5 roughly months to build a story every week. And so the heel turn of Cabana, I think, is going to be something. That's going to be awesome. That was one of the things I noted. Now you haven't watched it as much as I have, but QT Marshall of the Nightmare Family and Allie from Butcher and the Blade having some kind of a romance thing. Now on Dark, they really, really laid it out and played it up. Alex Marvez was out there to interview them in the parking lot before they went into the arena, and it was just Brandy and Dustin. And they're like, "Well, where's QT?" And all of a sudden, he pulls up with Allie in a brand new Corvette. And I think they were arguing about it, like, "Why did you buy this car?" And he's like, "Well, it's Allie wanted me to get it. It's her favorite color." And Brandy said, I think it was Brandy said, "It's like you're in a what do they call it, a midlife crisis.
Mm-hmm.
He got hair plugs. I forgot about that, or it's a
Mm-hmm.
toupee. I'm not sure, but because QT Marshall's got a thinning hairline, he
Mm-hmm.
did, and now all of a sudden he's got hair. He's got Allie. He's got the car. They're really playing it up as I think it's Allie is worming her way into the Nightmare family to help break them apart so that way the Butcher and the Blade can
Mm-hmm.
take them out. Because when the Butcher and the Blade debuted, their sole mission was they wanted to take out Cody.
Absolutely. So
And then it
I
got
don't think you're
dropped.
wrong. I don't disagree.
That storyline went somewhere, got dropped, but now it's like they're refocusing and they've got this devious plan, which was this. And you could compare it to Randy Orton joining
the Wyatt
family. I knew from
Less
the get go.
stupid, but
I knew from the get go that was the entire. That was what it was going to be. That he's trying to break them up, and
mm-hmm.
and it became that because remember he was doing stuff, and then Harper was
Mm-hmm.
like, why are you trusting him? Why are you believing him? And that broke apart Harper and Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
So this is along the same lines of it's a different kind. It's a similar plot, but it's a way better story.
It's better executed.
Yeah.
It's lasting longer. There aren't dumb segments. And it doesn't just blow up at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, they don't have this 2 weeks to a 4-week window. These are long, deep storylines that are going to take a long time to play out, which is so cool, which is so much better. But in the meantime, Allie is over here with QT Marshall, worming her way into the Nightmare family, while Butcher and Blade are going to feud with FTR.
Yeah, did we talk about FTR in the last podcast when they came in?
Yeah.
Okay,
because you liked how they
their entrance was better than
actually
Cody's.
Was that in 9 or was it in 10A?
I don't know, but I will state it again if it's not said in 9, and if I repeated myself, I'm sorry. Not really. So Cody interrupts Jake Roberts a couple weeks ago. He's revving his truck, and maybe not even his truck, maybe Tony Khan's truck. And he drives it.
No, that was his truck that he was willing to give to MJF, who threw the keys. It's like a limited edition Ford Raptor.
Whatever. So he drives it like 2 feet and knocks over
They had some kind of a barricade.
Styrofoam table, essentially. And then he gets out and he marches down to the ring, and it's very lame. It's very insanely lame. And then this time around, the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy just finished a match against
Private
Party, and
somebody because it was a 3-man.
Yeah, it was a 3-on-3. But Matt Hardy helps a guy out to the back, and then the Butcher and Blade, who were at ringside and caught a couple super kicks, now that the match is over, come in to start beating down the Young Bucks. And then we hear a truck start to rev.
What the heck was his name? It wasn't the guy from it was their partner. It wasn't Joey Janela, was it?
I think it was Joey Janela.
Was it? I don't know. But Private Party and their third guy, he went over the rail, and we're still using the villains or the heels on one side of the crowd, and the faces are on the other side of the crowd. Well, the crowd of heels, Butcher and Blade were there, and Matt Jackson went for a super kick on whoever this was, and he ducked out of the way, and it caught Blade right in the jaw, knocked the crap out of him. And that's why they jumped the rail at the end of the match.
And then so we hear this truck revving up, and it's an older style truck too.
It's an old Chevy. Matter of fact, our neighbor Donnie, it's his truck. It's the same one.
Yeah, so it's very nice. And he
shout out Donnie.
They drive in. They don't smash through anything,
and they don't stop short either. They drive pretty much all the way down.
Yeah, and then
where the announcers are.
Then they pop out of the truck, and it's like, who is that? That's Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. It's FTR. They're here, and they go down and they get in the ring, and Butcher and Blade step aside. They go to pick up the Young Bucks, like they're going to start wailing on them because they've been having feuds over Twitter for like months.
2 years.
2 years, even that's still months.
That's
but
where they
2
had
years.
the FTR, which I'll get to in the next little part I'll talk about.
But they don't. They turn and they dismantle Butcher and Blade, and then the Young Bucks like walk up to like shake their hand, and they just turn around and leave, and they walk out.
What do you think about Butcher and Blade and the all white?
Yeah, I was wondering about that, but
what do you think? Do you think it looks cool?
Yeah, kind of.
I think I'm not going to say it's. Well, I don't know because I didn't watch it. Did Dexter wear white?
Oh, on the show Dexter?
Yeah.
No. When he was killing people, he wore a brown uniform. Actually, there was a guy in Impact who dressed like Dexter.
Yeah, I remember that dude. Yeah, I remember that with the black gloves.
The black gloves,
and it was
the long
and it was a
brown T-shirt.
Was it a WWE guy? It was a former. No. Oh gosh, I know. Like, he had that pointy nose and everything. But yeah, the dude looks like Dexter. He wore the green shirt and the slacks.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm thinking that Butcher and Blade are wearing the white because if they get any color, it's really going to show up. Although their ring gear was back to their black ring gear.
So maybe that's just what I don't know. Maybe that's just what they wear when they chill.
Or they've got side jobs as ice cream men.
I don't know. White, although historically has stood for
good
purity.
Yeah, the good guys wear white, the black guys wear black, bad guys wear black, the black guys wear black. Dark Knight.
Anyways.
So what happened was, and then this week, it was FTR had their interview with Shivani.
Yeah.
And this was kind of funny because, okay, FTR had stood for the Revival for a long time. That was the Twitter feud they had with Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. They were all in on it. Mm-hmm. Actually, did you know Adam Cole was in the Elite?
Baby, yes.
For a while. Anyway, so that was that whole feud. And now, so when they left WWE, they were going to change their name from the Revival to the Revolt. And turned out that in the Indies years ago, there already was a group called the Revolt, and Dax and Cash were part of it with these two other guys. Well, they were a four-man faction. Well, when Dax and Cash left, those guys kept the name, the Revolt, and they've won titles under that name.
They're current champions.
They're current champions in their promotion. So all of a sudden, they wanted to use the name Revolt. And these guys were like, hell no. Wait a minute. Wait. Unless you're including us in it, you can't use that name. We've been using it. So that kind of stuck them because I think they already had merch. They already had Fear the Revolt logo and all that kind of stuff. And those guys hit them with a cease and desist, and they won because, they've been using it for years. So now it's supposedly means whatever you want it to.
Yeah, it's their lifestyle.
It's there was one said for the rules. I heard somebody else said F the rules. If they're going to be heels, I'm going to go with F the rules.
Right.
What did they say? Fear the revolution or something like that, or for the revolution because we're part of it now. And then when they were supposedly off camera, when the interview was over, Shivani said, can I tell you what I thought it meant? I thought it meant fuck the Revival, but they bleeped it out because that's what it was.
Right. And then the Butcher and Blade.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Butcher and Blade like ransacked them or bum rushed them or tried to. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, people and producers and trainers and everybody are holding them back. Now, see, there's the thing. They were pretty much ended as they were, well, before they were going to be a comedy gimmick, they were faces, right? Over here, they're definitely heels because...
are they? I would say that they're in between because they beat up the Butcher and Blade.
But Cash Wheeler chucked that water bottle.
And hit him right in the face.
So I'm thinking they might face turn. I don't know. But then that would destroy the whole alley going over here.
Maybe
So,
two villains fight or two villain teams. Dominance. Because I mean, a lot of I would,
or they could be anti-heroes or
because I would say a lot of
faces.
the tag teams are face, like are heel. A good majority of the teams are heels in AEW. So I'm more inclined to see some faces.
And we know that Pentagon and Phoenix are separated. One's injured, and one's stuck in Mexico.
Right. So, like right before all this whole thing went down, the current state of the
Pac
world.
is stuck in Ireland.
Yeah, Pac, Ray Phoenix Jr. or no, Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. created the Death Triangle, which was another heel faction.
Yeah.
So, I would like to see more face, or in the case of FTR,
and the only face faction is the Nightmare Family.
No,
right?
Private Party.
No, that's just a tag team.
Oh, yeah, okay. But anyways, I would like to see them as, I guess, anti-heroes of sorts. We're kind of going over time.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've still got a little bit more. But as you were going to say, that's the last thing. I did say that Private Party are a face tag team, but they just got an endorsement from Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is done with his helping out, because that's all he was. Remember in the beginning, the Young Bucks went to the Hardy compound and said, "We need help." So he was there to help them defeat the Inner Circle, which they did in the Stadium Stampede. Greatest wrestling match that ever happened in time and space ever. Ever.
I did bring this up in episode 9. Is Matt is going through these different versions of himself, his different gimmicks, and I said, awesome. Where could his $1 million Matt be with Private Party?
Now what he's going to, now that he's aligning himself with Private Party, told them anything they want, he could teach them, he could tell them, he could show them, he'll help them, he'll be with them in their corner. This could be the debut of $1 Million Matt, because it's Mark Quinn, and who's the other guy?
I don't know.
I can't think of his name, but he's the one that he came up with, them calling themselves Party or Hardy Party, which to me it's like it's backwards. The old saying that we had at my day was "You party hardy,"
right?
Which I think that would be awesome, but they want to call it Hardy Party, and Matt said he was down with it, so he liked it and he left. So yeah, we could get $1 Million Matt with Private Party, which in turn is going to give them a push because they're aligning themselves with a high profile wrestler that has come to the promotion. So Matt's there to boost people, it seems to me. Well, like, no. Yeah, and then, you know what? And that's true because Inner Circle was so dominant, and we've got the fractures in the elite, plus Matt and Nick Jackson. Remember, they got beat by Private Party in the very get-go when they had the tag title tournament.
Right.
Private Party were the 8th ranked, what they call it, seed, and then they upset in the first round. They beat the number 1 ranked team.
Yeah, they went for a while. They got to semifinals at least.
Yeah. So now the Young Bucks they're there. They're the name that draws you in to the promotion, but they haven't had the greatest time. So Matt Hardy joining them got more eyes back on them, and then helped them defeat the Elite. So now he's going to do the same with Private Party. That's pretty cool because Private Party needed it because they've been injured and they've been out. We know that Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are stuck in Canada. So that's where they stalled out the Dark Order storyline, and maybe that's why. Now, I had that thought. If they do recruit Colt Cabana, what if they make him a tag team partner of 10?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy in any capacity. I honestly think it wouldn't be wise to do a swerve where he's thinking about this and then he turns on the Dark Order. No, I 100% think he should join the Dark Order, heal it up, I want to hear some
I think
dark.
he'd be an awesome heel.
I think he would. I think he can be. I mean, when he, it's not really heelish behavior; it's more dickish behavior. But when he, you know,
Well, remember
popped.
that match we saw where he got beat by Orange Cassidy?
No, he didn't lose. No, to
Or yeah, David Arquette.
yeah, he
He
lost to
lost to
David.
David Arquette, and he was being heelish.
Yeah, and then also when he popped Kip Sabian, or yeah, Kip Sabian in the mouth. Would you forget I was a wrestler? I don't know if I would call that dick behavior. I wouldn't call it heel, but he can already do it.
He can do it. I've never seen him. I mean, I know he's been in a lot of different promotions. I've never seen him
Yeah,
be a heel. I'm not familiar enough with him yet,
and
which
then
is cool. Which is the best thing about seeing these guys that they're just bringing in that you don't really know.
mhm,
You got to go and dig and just check out their matches on YouTube or wherever you can get footage at. So that's kind of cool
yeah,
because, like I said, we know how good Orange Cassidy is. I'd seen him wrestle on some matches on YouTube, and he's only been doing the Orange Cassidy character for a year. But I've seen he wrestled Jordan Grace, who is the Knockouts champion
mhm.
in Impact right now. He's done intergender, he's done tags, he's done. This dude is when they go, you always hear Jr. say these guys are the future of the company. You got to put Orange Cassidy in that conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
I think if
phenomenal.
you leave him out, is a mistake.
Yeah. Well, we already talked. I have my notes here. We already talked about when are we going to get the big guys versus each other. Luchasaurus and Wardlow. I want to see that.
Oh yeah, dude.
I want to see Archer against. We were just talking about it.
Brian Cage.
Yeah, Brian Cage. I want to see Brody Lee versus any of them.
Yeah.
They got these big unstoppable guys. Well, you got to get them.
Wait.
Got to get them together. Even put Butcher in that.
Wardlow, Brody Lee, Luchasaurus.
Butcher.
I know, but this is like the Fatal 4-Way, Fatal 5-Way, whatever. Let all five of them, six of them, however many people I was trying to count that we just mentioned, let them all wrestle each other.
Wardlow, Archer,
Cage.
Cage. Those are the big dudes.
Luchasaurus.
That's four, and Butcher.
Yeah,
I think
so
he
that's
belongs
five.
in there. You know what? And Billy Gunn, dude.
Yeah, big boy Billy Gunn.
That dude is huge, man. He towers over those guys.
And he eliminated
He did.
Colt Cabana.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
tossed him over.
Well, Colt Cabana like back handspringed into him, and he just caught him and tossed him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Also, one more thing on Colt Cabana being a heel, his the Superman pin that he does, that can be seen as showboating, and like as a villain, you would grow to love to hate that.
Or he might quit doing it.
Nah, I feel that would be
Yeah,
be a
but that's a
mistake.
good. That's a weird pin. That's a
Mhm.
weird finishing pin. But I'm into it. And so we've come to the end of time today. We can do our shout outs because we now have
25.
25 subscribers, including 2 new ones.
So I'll go ahead and I'll welcome our new subscribers to the Wolf Den. We have Ricky and Brittany. Welcome to the Wolf Den. Enjoy your stay. As for some shout outs for people who commented on last week's video, we have Vanessa, who is a friend of mine.
Carrie Ann.
Wow, your handwriting sucks.
Yeah.
And
Whatever
Carrie Ann. Yeah, they keep changing their name on YouTube, I've noticed.
So it's the same person?
It's the same person. They just keep changing their name.
How do you know?
Because it's the same logo.
Same avatar?
Yeah, it's the same comment.
My buddy Kevin up in Stockton. Thanks for finally letting us know that you're up in there. And his daughter Flora is my goddaughter, and I believe she's in Tennessee.
Okay.
So shout out to both of you guys. Let me see what that first one was. Oh, Aslan Lion. Because I think she commented again, which possibly could be, well, somebody that knows me on Facebook. I think it's my friend Nikki, but I'm not sure. You have to let me know, or else we're just saying stuff that don't make any sense. because you're like, no, that's not me. Well, then who the hell are you?
Nothing we say makes sense.
Well, that's true. And we've got a podcast.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to shout out to your sister, my daughter Jessica, even though she don't want us to, but she's responsible for our cool graphics that we use.
Yeah, she is. She has made all of the graphics that you have seen on this channel. Yeah, every single one.
So I love them. They look cool, and I'm thinking later on down the road, shirts in those colors.
If we can,
If we can,
absolutely.
that'd be awesome. So shout out to Jessica, and which brings me to shout out to her daughter, my granddaughter, your niece. No,
Yes.
yes, your niece Elena. So
Hmm.
shout out, hello, Elena. Grandpa loves you. And I think
And
that's
to
all.
everybody.
So when you arrive, subscribe
That's right. And we look forward to howling with you next time.
in episode 11.
That's right.